Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome to Ultimate Road Trip Southern Conquest Part 2. So today I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. We spent a good 2 days in Hyderabad and then it was time to move to Chennai. We reached Hyderabad, it was boiling hot, and that's where today's episode sort of comes in. Obviously this was a longer trip and way longer than we had anticipated initially. It was around, let's say, 2:30 in the afternoon when we actually got out of the hotel again. Scorching heat once again, pretty much boiling. The seats, the Rexine was sort of starting to melt. We managed to get into the car, as we always do, and we set off. We thought that we should reach Chennai in 8 hours because that's what the map says. And trust me, when you're in India, every time the map says a number, you don't listen to that number. In your heart, you know that it's going to be at least 4 to 5 hours more than the hours that's. Unlike how, when you're in Mumbai and you leave from, let's say, a suburb or even town, to be able to get out of Mumbai and onto the expressway, or if you're going towards north and you want to hit the Western Express Highway, that sort of takes you beyond Mumbai. Just to cross the city limits, you'd probably end up taking 3 to 4 hours, right? On a bad day. It took me not more than half an hour to get onto the highway, the Hyderabad-Chennai highway, and trust me guys, it is fantastic. There's like absolutely no doubt in that. I mean, that road is a pleasure to drive on. Typically, South India starts from Karnataka, and that's where good roads start. At least they're better than Maharashtra any day, like any given day. I'm not disputing that there are really good roads, some fantastic roads in Uttarakhand, in Haryana as well. I haven't actually been to Punjab or the East, so I'll refrain from commenting on that. I've heard a lot about the Eastern Coastal Belt, right? That road. Yeah, I'm hoping that sometime we do that trip, but that's for a later day. But today we're going to focus on the 3 route options we had at hand. Option 1, Hyderabad to Chennai via Kurnool, Kadappa and Tirupati in that order. It would have taken us 12 hours and 49 minutes. Option 2, to Chennai via Peddavoora, Ongole and Nellore. That was 13 hours according to Google Maps. And option 3 was the easternmost route, also via Ongole and Nellore, which is around 12 hours and 22 minutes. We obviously decided to go with the third option. Fortunately, nothing major. The guys are really good and kind to us. In 15 minutes, they sort of sorted the mud flap. The sunset anywhere in India is spectacular, anywhere in the world for that matter. It's a different phenomenon really when you're on the highway and you're able to see the sunset. It's crazy. Especially when it's a flat road. When I say flat, it's flat as fuck. Leg is on the accelerator pedal and all you can see is the sun setting. car.
Why has it been rough?
Because of the error in my judgment, I sort of went and scraped the left hand side of the car on some weird road in Hyderabad.
Okay.
And also there's sort of some damage to the panel on the left, which we're thinking that we can get fixed tomorrow in Chennai.
Okay.
We'll try.
Okay. After that, what happened?
After shit blew up in the car because it was solidified ice when we got it, and I opened it up and it almost was like champagne. My experiences as the only driver, whether it's a 1,000-kilometer drive or a 1,500-kilometer drive or a 2,000-kilometer drive, I typically like to drive alone. Even if there are, you can call me a prick for being really selfish, but that's really who I am. The sun had set by now and it had just about started to get dark. We did pass a few towns and villages on the way, but the condition of the road was generally good. Driving through the evening was effortless. By around 9 in the night, we had covered around 300 kilometers, which is a little under half the total distance from our hotel in Hyderabad to our destination in Chennai. One thing that's important and that you need to remember, for those of you that are driving through the night, dinner is almost always never a good idea. If you're the only one driving, that is, it doesn't exactly help, especially when you need to stay focused and awake through the drive. One of the good things is that I do not normally get tired, but when I do, I notice the faintest signs of actually getting into some sort of a sleep mode. I make it a point to pull up on the side. For all of you guys out there who are driving, it's really important. Please understand that if you're going to get to a place and you have some sort of a timeline you're working on, your life is more important, because one day here and there is not going to make that big a difference. But if you sleep on the wheel, God forbid, it can mean difference between life and death. Also remember that there are people in the car whose lives you're responsible for. So please drive responsibly. After having crossed some more toll booths, the road was just getting better and better. For someone who talks so highly about Karnataka roads, Andhra Pradesh was really putting up a tough fight. These are the type of highways that make driving within our country an absolute pleasure. Now, if you're a regular as far as highway driving goes, you'll know better than to expect well-lit roads through most of your drive through the night. But one thing that's commendable about the drive from Hyderabad to Chennai, and particularly the route that we were on, is the way that the highway was lit up. The roads really look like they want to be driven on. Now, obviously, we're very much in India, and the one thing you cannot do anything about, no matter how good the roads are, is the traffic situation. It was close to 11:20 in the night, and we had to cover a little under 260 kilometers still to get to Chennai. This is when we ran into a massive, almost an hour-long traffic jam. After all that fantastic driving, we came to a complete standstill for a while. Thankfully for us, this ordeal was short-lived, at least as compared with prior experiences. We were on the highway once again, and we were greeted by what appeared to be the last toll booth before entering Tamil Nadu. It was past 1 am now, and we were back on excellent roads once again. This was the last leg of our journey, albeit a little delayed due to the traffic jam. We had no problems whatsoever when it came to making up. My leg was on the accelerator pedal and very much in the direction that we were headed to. It's 2 am now and we're around 150 kilometers away from Chennai. Yeah. We got here somehow. There was 1 hour of traffic. We are genuinely thankful to CCD for being there when we need them the most. We stopped off for a quick cup of coffee and our last pit stop before getting to our destination. Like I said earlier, we've done around 550 kilometers by now and spent 12 hours on the road. 150 kilometers is not exactly a big distance, but after 500 plus kilometers behind the wheel, it can start to get to you. I wasn't exactly sleepy, but was most definitely a bit on the tired side. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't partake in dinner, because if I had eaten, there is no way we would have been able to make it that night. The last 100 kilometers or so on any drive aren't really the best by any stretch of imagination. If there's anything other than the will to drive, it's only the nostalgia of coming back to a city you know that'll keep you going at most times. If you like what you see, do hit the thumbs up button. To get updates from us and learn more from Ultimate Road Trips, please give us a sub.